I'm so proud to be a part of this church, because you are just such a vibrant, big, loving, truth-telling people, and I hope you take that in this morning. I am so proud to be here. Part of our commitment to being a welcoming congregation, for that is what the First Parish of Watertown is, means considering what it means to truly belong in this place. And we can do this in a myriad of ways, right? Being a place of welcome can mean so many things. But at its core, and underneath all the different ways that we express and live welcome, is love. Love. And it's the closest we Unitarian-Universalists get to a theological center point, right? That we can agree on love. Yeah. For what is radical welcome? What is building a place of belonging, but being an embodied house of love? Love made manifest. And this is challenging because embodying love means opening your mind and heart to the new and the unknown, sometimes the inconvenient. And there's no final destination here. We do not say welcome and call it a day. Being welcome, living welcome, embodying welcome, these are ongoing practices, some of which can rock our worlds and world views. And these are some of the touchstones that make this, our Unitarian Universalist tradition, alive. This is why we call ourselves a living tradition. I've said that before, because we commit to never stop stretching and growing, loving bigger and bigger and bigger. It is so dang inconvenient. I get it. But it's so magnificent, right? It's magnificent, this stretched alive love. In this service, we have been talking about and honoring our transgender siblings. People whose bodies, whose identities are not historically welcome in our culture, and even in many of our congregations. People whose bodies and identities are questioned as being valid or real, up for debate by those of us who inhabit bodies and identities that fit gender norms, what in our culture is considered normal or acceptable or familiar. And as Lauren mentioned earlier in her Time for All Ages, I didn't grow up this way. I am a child of the 70s. I did not grow up with words like transgender or gender identity, right? I was taught about girls and boys, she's and he's, period, end stop. So I have had to learn this, and it's okay. Can we just say that? It's okay. We are not bad people for not knowing what we don't know. We aren't bad people if we find it new and maybe even a bit confusing at first. We commit to learning and being learners and opening our hearts and minds. And something that has really helped me in this learning, this ongoing learning, is to consider my own body. Start here. One of my favorite people, Episcopal priest Barbara Brown Taylor, she writes in her book, An Altar in the World, that the practice of wearing skin, for that is what she calls it, that the practice of wearing skin means being able to take in one's body and say, here I am. This is the body like no other that my life has shaped. I live here. This is my soul's address. And this body, this our soul's address, this knowing, it connects us to other bodies. And these are Brown's words, for one of the truer things about bodies is that it is just about impossible to increase the reverence I show mine without also increasing the reverence I show yours. In Christian teachings, followers of Jesus are called to honor the bodies of their neighbors as they honor their own, because Jesus' ministry was all about encountering and loving bodies who were utterly discounted by the world in which they lived. Those were the original Christian teachings. These discounted bodies were the people Jesus hung out with. These were the banished bodies that he called holy. And the foundational love that our modern Unitarian-Universalist faith holds tight to, that theological center point, is tightly tethered and bound to our Universalist history and Christian theology, which preached the gospel of God as love and no one, not one soul on this earth being beyond this love, this radical, stretched, inconvenient, blessed, magnificent love. And I think it's helpful to look to our practice of this big love as one of widening circles. Circles that expand out of our own lives and stretch out, 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 out. And that being in our own bodies, no matter how shattered or discounted or inconvenient our own bodies can be, that understanding them to be blessed houses of the soul contribute to our ability to see other bodies as the same, blessed houses of the soul. And maybe you will find it helpful, as I have, to consider how you treat your own body. It's a part of this. How you talk about it. How you honor it or don't, how you belong to it or don't, and then draw the circle out. Don't stop there. Consider this place, this house of belonging and welcome. Where are the boundaries of belonging here? Where can we expand? Being a welcoming congregation means we commit ourselves to drawing these circles wider so that we might be a true home, a church body for all souls. And I am so proud that this congregation is already asking so many of these questions and talking about it with our kids, and you've been doing this for a long while. And that in this place we can gather today on a Sunday morning and center the names as part of our worship of those tragically lost this year as a way to bring these trans peoples into this, our circle of belonging and care. I am so proud that we do this here. But let us keep going. Let us commit ourselves to being learners. Stretch your love. Be welcome. Don't just say it. And in the spirit of drawing the circle wider, I invite you to take some of the names of our lost trans beloveds home with you today. A basket has been placed on our joys and sorrows table with each of the names printed on pieces of paper. If you're joining us from home today, Allison is going to put a link in the chat for you. Choose a few to look up, take with you, and come to know them. Where were they from? Who did they love? Get to know the soul these bodies housed. Put these names on your Thanksgiving table. That's what I will be doing this year. And I hope we can do this together. And I hope we can do it with love in our open, maybe just even a bit more open hearts, and welcome on our lips. I say to you, may it be so. May it be so.